Hello, and welcome to Sovereign Earth. I'm JJ Middleway, and this is Sovereign Earth 21, which seems very fitting as the subject matter is mistletoe, a large bunch of which I've got nestled behind me, behind my left ear here. Mistletoe, sacred to the Druids and sacred to our ancestors, I believe. Anyway, I'll tell you the story of how this mistletoe has been gathered shortly. And I just want to start with a song and welcoming in various people I can see joining in: David, Jennifer, Mark and Carol. Anybody, you're all welcome, very welcome, from all around the world, really. Yes, several from Germany I can see. Anyway, lovely to see you, really beautiful. Lincolnshire, the Fens. And Germany again. Lovely. Okay, here's a song to start. Sovereign Earth 21, sacred number of completion of the training of Druids by all accounts, which is why we still celebrate 21st birthday especially. Okay, this song is for the mistletoe and was sung in Glastonbury Town Hall just on Saturday with 200 Druids from all around the world as we celebrated mistletoe. Above and below, and all around you are. Above and below, and all around you are. You are the essence of love, the beauty in all. Divine mistletoe, sacred one, source within and beyond. Sacred one, source within and beyond. Above and below, and all around you are. Above and below, and all around you are. You are the essence of love, the beauty in all. You are the wonder of life, divine mistletoe, sacred one, source within and beyond. Sacred one, source within and beyond. So here we are, deep into the darker month of the year, darkest month of the year. And each year now, for 15, 16 years, my friend Adrian and I, dear friend Adrian Rook and I, we go on a pilgrimage, an annual pilgrimage to an apple orchard in Somerset, which until very recently was owned by someone called Bryony and her partner Duncan, who's passed on, but we've formed a relationship with them over the years in terms of harvesting the mistletoe. So Adrian and I go down to this orchard and we spend the day gathering loads of mistletoe. It's the last year we'll do it in that orchard because it's completed its harvest, its offering, its crop. So if anyone knows of another orchard in Somerset or Gloucestershire that's got lots of mistletoe and available next year for harvesting, get in touch with me. Anyway, so Adrian and I, this last couple of years we've had help from Fleur, my partner, and Joe this year came too with Adrian. So Adrian and I just getting a bit more, a bit more creaky in the limbs. So we've had some help. Anyway, here's some of that mistletoe. I said it was up behind me. So it's known as Viscum albans. So viscum is sticky, viscous, and alba is white. So white sticky berries, and a very significant symbolic shape, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So we go to this orchard and we get the ladders, and we spend a few hours trekking across a couple of fields down to where the orchard is, and then there is always a tree we gather round, and we have a little ritual of keying in and asking for permission and to gather the mistletoe and honouring the apple trees and the land, and it's a very beautiful time. So it's hard physically, but spiritually it's a real treat, and I'd miss it now. It's become a rich part of the fabric of my year. So we got a few ceremonial tools which we use to gather the mistletoe. Pliny, in Roman times, when they came and saw the Druids gathering mistletoe, talked of a golden sickle. Oh, I didn't bring it with me. Anyway, my golden sickle. But we use it as symbolic because a golden sickle wouldn't cut mistletoe. It's too soft a metal. We use a little tree saw, or this year we used a big pruning saw from on the end of a long arm, which was a godsend really, or goddess send, better term. And we gather lots of mistletoe, and we try and catch whoever's below. We take it in turns going up the ladder, and those below catch the mistletoe to save it going on the ground, because it has a particular potency and power in ritual the next day where we use it. And so some of it hits the ground, obviously, and that doesn't matter, but as long as we've got some that hasn't touched the ground, we gather that all in, and we take it down to Glastonbury Town Hall each year, and we lay it out in the centre of the hall, masses of it, and it's very beautiful. It's become a rich part of the annual gathering as well. Anyway, what happens the next morning in ritual is there's Adrian and I stand at each end, and then there are 5 people who speak for the mistletoe, a short prayer in different languages. So this year we had Cornish, and we had Belgium, someone from Belgium, someone from Ireland, someone from Scotland, and someone speaking in English. And the words that are spoken, and it's really beautiful when you hear all these different languages honouring the mistletoe. Drawn from oak and apple, seed of rebirth and new life, all heal of the ancients. May our lives be refreshed at their roots, reborn with every dawn. May all be healed, may all be blessed. And I send that blessing out to each and every one of you now, and to myself too. So, in the main ceremony, we then honour the mistletoe, and in particular, actually more so, we honour the land. We touch the mistletoe that has not touched the earth until that point. We touch it to the earth, and it is a symbolic, and perhaps more than that, there's something powerful and potent about fertilising the land, refertilising the land at this dark time of the year. So it feels really important. It's become very important. Maybe we've just made it so. But at this time of the year, of course, it's approaching the solstice, when the sun is reborn, birth, renewal. And of course, mistletoe was brought into houses. It represents, look at it. It's green in the middle of the dark times, and it fruits in the middle of winter. How odd is that? It's not alone in that, but there's not many plants do that. But it's obviously, yes, a representation of life in the depths of darkness and winter. And it's interesting that mistletoe is a hemiparasite, so it's not a full parasite. It draws water and nutrients from the tree, but it's green, so it can partly provide its own sugars and food through that means, through sunlight. I've also, I know from past readings that mistletoe, it's a very abundant up this western side of Great Britain, up through the Severn Vale, the counties of Somerset, Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, Herefordshire. It likes particular conditions, damp, I think, for one. But it's also it's remarkable because it's apparently been studied and is what is regarded as a key species. So where mistletoe grows, it's an indicator of health and vitality, and in the environment where mistletoe is found, where it's found in abundance particularly, there is an abundance of other life. So it's almost like it bestows, it imbues the environment with some beneficent well-being. Who knows, but that might seem a bit far-fetched at some level, but I mean, the more I go on in life, the less far-fetched it seems. It could well be. My instinct is that has some merit, that thought and feeling of the mistletoe imparting vitality to the land. So let's just tune in a little bit more, each of us, to the mistletoe. So there's a sprig. I'll lay it down here. Now, I see somebody's from Tuscany, Geno in love from Tuscany, Stefan from Germany, Isalinda from Portugal, Marsha from North Carolina, USA. Mistletoe grows in our older oak trees. Wow, it's particularly potent if it's in an oak tree. There aren't many places in England where that happens, but it was renowned in Druidic times as a potent mistletoe that grew on the oaks. I'm going to invite us now to just close our eyes. This is a shared visualization. I find it wonderful. We're all around the world, but we can tune in this global grove. Just deep breath. Deep breath for the earth beneath us. Deep breath for the sky above. And deep breath for the waters which surround this land and whatever land you are on. I'm going to invite 3 Arwens, flowing spirit, for the spirit flows through mistletoe. So I meant to invite us to link hands in the grove before that singing of the Arwen, but let's link hands in the vision, in our mind's eye, in this grove. Let it be a grove of apple trees this night. We find ourselves in our inner realm, able to connect in a grove of apple trees, Kweat in the Ogham language. Sacred apple. So all around us are apple trees and an orchard. We're in an orchard of apple trees. So all of us now present, linked in. And I invite you to just take in the sight of various apple trees, old and twisted, some of them. Some have half fallen down. 1 or 2 are on the ground. But some are in full flight, full power and beauty. But it is winter, so they don't have any leaves. And because of that, we see in some of the branches there's lots of mistletoe. And some of those mistletoe, boughs of mistletoe branches, are close and low enough to be touched. And we make our way, each of us, in our mind's eye, make our way to an apple tree with some mistletoe hanging down. And we just take a moment to connect with our mistletoe, the beauty and the wonder of it at this time, dark time. And just quietly asking permission. We take a sprig of it for sacred purposes in honour and respect. A small sprig like I showed you at the start, with a couple of berries, 2 or 3 berries on. And just holding it near, maybe holding it to your heart, place of love. In your mind's eye, with your eyes closed in this apparent world, just listen to this prayer, which is actually something we use in some of the solstice ceremonies. But here we are with the mistletoe, and listen up. I am the spirit of mistletoe. I am the all-heal. I hang suspended between earth and air, a bridge between both the realms of the humans and the realms of the gods, that of the air and that of the earth and mortal beings. My strong magic blends with that of my host tree to form a potent healing power. I am the tears of Frigga, the mother goddess, shed for her son Baldur, the sun god. Mistletoe is the sperm of the gods, impregnating Mother Earth, to bring forth new life in abundance. I offer healing and protection to the body and to the spirit, and life renewed to the earth. So in your mind's eye, with those words ringing within you, I invite us all to touch the earth with that sprig of mistletoe, which has never touched the earth before. And with it, as the berries touch the earth, we honour and invite fresh fertility in the earth, that the sun is reborn, or will be before long, that the earth will be re-energised and reinvigorated, touching the earth with our sprigs of mistletoe. So, touching the earth with the mistletoe, perhaps feel that spark of life reborn in the earth at this pivotal point in the year. And leaving the mistletoe on the ground, you give your thanks and step back into the circle with everyone else here present. We give thanks for our little shared visualization, and we leave that grove in gratitude and come back into wherever you are, in the chair where you're sitting, whatever screen you're watching this on or listening. So welcome back. I come back too. It's interesting how these things, they're very simple and one could almost say childish, but actually there's something very powerful and magical in a simple connection in this way. So extra people joining us from Belgium and from California, Melanie from California, Ava from Belgium, and others too. You're all welcome. So here's a song for the mistletoe. There is so much magnificence in mistletoe. White berries of pure love, white berries of pure love. There is so much magnificence in mistletoe. White berries of pure love, white berries of pure love. And I could finish there, or I could just briefly tell you the story that goes with this time of year. Frigga and Baldur, some of you will know it. I'll tell you the story. It's a Norse story from the Norse mythology, from the Eddas. But it has a resonance because it's pre-Christian, it's close to the earth. So it's a wisdom tale with hidden meanings that none of us can quite fathom. So Frigga was the goddess of love and fertility, and she was married to Odin, the head of the Norse gods, chief of the Norse gods. And they had a son called Baldur. Baldur was full of radiance and vitality, and everywhere he went there was joy and everyone was happy. But Baldur had a dream that he would perish, and Frigga was really upset at the thought of this, and she went on a mission to convince all the creatures of the earth that they would not harm Baldur, her favourite and beautiful son. And she went to all the creatures of the earth, mountains, stones and crystals and everything on the earth, and she made them promise they would never hurt Baldur, and they did. She visited all the creatures of the air, the birds and the creatures of the spaciousness of air, and they all agreed they'd never hurt Baldur. She went to the sea and asked all the creatures of the waters, and they all agreed, and the sea itself agreed, never to hurt Baldur. So she felt reassured by all this and much happier, but she did miss just one creature on this earth, and that being was mistletoe. So she missed out on getting the reassurance from mistletoe. Now, some say it's because mistletoe was so insignificant it didn't matter. Others, I think it's because in summer, which is what Baldur is all about, fertility and summertime, it is a story. It's said this is the story of the first winter. And so there would, in Baldur's time, there would have been leaves on all the trees. She wouldn't have seen mistletoe. It's hidden in the summer. It only comes into visibility in the winter months. And also, it would have fallen between her requests of air and earth. It is not of the air. It is not of the earth. Nor is it of the sea. So it didn't fall into the category of one of those. And so between heaven and earth, it's a liminal plant, born on the tree, never touches the earth unless we pick it. So now Loki, the trickster god, he got jealous of Baldur because everyone loved Baldur, and he got cheesed off with him because Baldur wasn't upset by his teasing and less than pleasant jokes. So Loki got to hear that there was a flaw in Frigga's defense of Baldur, and he dressed up. What did he dress up as? He disguised himself as a serving girl. That's interesting. As a serving girl, and he went to Frigga, and he got her confidence and managed to learn that mistletoe was the one thing that which Baldur was not immune from. So mistletoe was the one thing that could harm him. And Loki travelled to the mistletoe where it grew, and he fashioned a spear, or an arrow spear, maybe an arrow or a spear. Mistletoe doesn't have huge branches, so maybe a large arrow or small spear. And he got everyone playing games, trying to harm Baldur. He could throw anything, everything else apart from mistletoe just bounced off him and no problem. But he got Hodder, who it turns out is Baldur's blind twin. It ties in with winter if you think about it. But anyway, Hodder, the blind twin, he helps Hodder aim at Baldur and throw the mistletoe spear, and whoosh, Baldur dies. And in that moment, the world goes dark. The leaves fall off the trees, and everything, all the wonder and freshness and life is diminished. Of course, if you can look on it as the end of summer, it's a tale of turning of the year. So Frigga is obviously devastated at the death of her son. She's also very angry. She goes off to find the mistletoe and determined to have her revenge. But when she gets to the mistletoe said, "What's happened? Why are all the leaves off the trees? Why is everything so sad, so lacking in radiance?" And Frigga says it's because Baldur has died, and what's more, you were the cause of his death. And the mistletoe, of course, is really upset at this, and also full of compassion, and that compassion touches Frigga too, and she cries. I'm almost crying talking about it. Silly, really, but powerful things, tales and stories. So Frigga cries, and her tears become the white berries, and they're known as Frigga's tears, these white berries. And they fall onto the mistletoe, and those berries are there to this day, and they are the tears of love. And mistletoe is the plant of love. We take it into our houses at this time of year, and we kiss under it, and it's fertility, and it's full of it's a sexual plant. The berries are like sperm, and this is a potent symbol of a healthy sexuality. Something we don't teach our kids in schools. A healthy, well, maybe some schools, a healthy relationship to potent beauty in sexual unfolding, epitomised in the mistletoe. So, I've gone on a bit longer than I intended. So it's said that that's the story of the first winter. And it's fascinating that at Yule we take this plant that represents this time of year and the solstice. So it's a really beautiful time of year, powerful turning. And this mistletoe symbolises that life renewed and the vigour that will come back, and so potent and powerful and meaningful to our ancestors, and again now in these times. So may you all have a potent and powerful time as we approach and move towards the solstice, which I may well talk about next week, solstice. And there is so much magnificence in mistletoe, white berries of pure love, white berries of pure love. There is so much magnificence in mistletoe, white berries of pure love, white berries of pure love. So bye-bye, goodbye, good night, wherever you are, be it day or night. And whether you're approaching winter solstice, as we are in this northern hemisphere, or in southern climes, you're approaching the summer solstice. Powerful times of turning. Love and blessings to you all. Bye-bye.